All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday, December 11th. We have two NBA Cup games to dive into in today's video. I'm going to give you my prediction on the side of both of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video for my final plays. If you do want to see what I'm rolling with myself, absolutely free down in the pinned comment. In terms of yesterday, screw it, let's get some crowd noise in here. We go 2-1. We finally have a winning day in the NBA, and it just rhymed and I didn't mean to. Yeah, we were on an 0-4 run, and then last night we do pick up, I think it's 0.19 units. So you know what? We deserve a big old cha-ching. It's not that much, right? Like we didn't run away cash, you know, FU money, we can go buy a yacht. But it was green, and we had not been green in a while, so you know what? We shall take it. Bucks team total over. Posted that on Instagram. Had to sweat that one out. Bobby Portis under 7.5 rebounds. I like the spot. Like, I'd probably do it again, but obviously that was a terrible look. And then the NBA parlay, the 4-leg parlay we posted over on Instagram. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, at EvPicks, picks with a Z, so EVPICKZ. Spelling Bee Champ. Go ahead and follow me there. Just popped up. We're posting parlays a lot of the times and whatnot. Throwing a quarter unit on these things for some plus money. So yeah, that cashed as well. 4 legs. Nice to see, you know, one go through. If we're a shooter, we just finally hit one. I'm like, all right, let's go. Now we can heat up because now I'm feeling the vibes looking a little bit better. And hopefully I'm not jinxing it. Unfortunately, the ride of the day, we do have to drop the womp womp on my man Colin here. He had a plus 220 parlay, obviously kind of sending it with this one. Luka lets us down. Shea looks really good last night. Luka does not have the best one, right? I think he only had, I don't even know how many points, less than 20, and 8 rebounds, I believe, hit. But overall, Luka ends up crushing that one. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it is simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me your favorite play of the day. I pick one in the comments, jump on board with it, give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss, just like Colin got. If you win, we continue to ride with your play. This is the second day we rode with Colin because he hit the first day, right? If you lose, you do got to face the womp womp, just like we put out there in your face, Colin. So unfortunately, it was a good attempt. It was kind of sending it, right? A plus 220 parlay. But if you guys do lose, you do have to face the womp womp. But enough of this rambling, guys. Why don't we ramble some more? But this time about these games today. First one we're starting off with is Atlanta taking on the Knicks. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button and hitting that like button as well. And dropping your favorite plays in the comments. You can use the hashtag ride of the day. Even if we don't ride with you, you don't even realize how many people you are helping out. We have one of the best comment sections on YouTube in terms of sending out bangers. But let's dive into this one here. We got the Knicks taking on Atlanta. In this one, Knicks are massive favorites. I do get it, right? Like, this Knicks team is playing better in better basketball. We can admit that. 7-3 over their last 10. They are 5-5 against the spread, but at home this year, they've been very good. 8-3 straight up, and they've covered in 60% of their games at home. So, yeah, we'll give them a little bit of credit, obviously. In terms of cup games, 4-0 so far this season. So, yeah, that's why the Knicks are that big of a number. We do have some injuries to monitor. I don't necessarily know if we're going to be looking at, you know, these guys not playing, considering it is a cup game, but Josh Hart listed as questionable, Towns probable. On the other side, Trae Young, Hunter, and Jalen Johnson all listed as probable as well. So obviously any of those guys being out can kind of throw a wrench into everything, depending on what side you're on. But just keep an eye on that. I think in this spot, I am going to lean towards the Knicks. Now, I really tried to get to Atlanta, and I'll tell you why I couldn't fully get there. Atlanta, over the last 10 games, is shooting the most from in the restricted area as well as in the paint. So both of those shooting zones over the last 10 games in terms of frequency. The Knicks this season, a top 10 team in terms of points allowed in the paint. In the restricted area, 62.5% field goal percentage against in the last 10 games. And in the paint, so restricted area kind of extended to the foul line up, right? 41.2% in terms of opponent field goal percentage against. So they obviously have shored up their defense. There was one point where they're allowing anybody in their grandmother's ex-boyfriend, high school ex-boyfriend, to go and score in the paint, right? Now they've definitely shored up their defense a little bit kind of in the middle there, which is where Atlanta likes to score. Atlanta from 3 so far this year, the 10th fewest threes made, because that's where you would attack the Knicks, right? They're allowing the 6th most threes per game to opposing teams. So this is a spot in which I think that the Knicks just match up really well with Atlanta. Last time they played, Atlanta won. That was back in early November. Atlanta won 121 to 116. But again, this Knicks defense was not exactly the Knicks defense at that time. So I think this is a revenge spot for the Knicks. You have the added element of the NBA Cup. They're at home, which they've been very good this year. It seems like a good spot for them to come through. Now, 8 is a big number. That's going to be the only thing. If you guys don't see this in a final play, it's not because I found out some more angles for the Hawks or whatnot. It's because I deemed 8 being too big of a number, right? Like I would have probably pegged this at Knicks minus 5.5, which that's a pretty big, in the world of sports betting, 8 versus 5.5 in basketball is a pretty damn big margin, you know what I mean? So I do think the Knicks win this one, but it's close, but 8 may be a little bit too much. So I definitely see the angle for Atlanta. Let's flip it over and kind of look at why someone might like Atlanta. They do have 3-point shooters, right? The Knicks do struggle on the 3 line defensively, and they've been the fastest paced team in the league at multiple times this year. Currently, in the last 10 games, the fastest paced team in the league. They could run all over the Knicks, and that's kind of how they ended up winning that game back in early November, right? They scored 121 to 116. That was in a time when the Knicks were having games that were like 116 to 105 and stuff like that. So if Atlanta gets going and starts running and whatnot, that is definitely a path for them to be successful. The Knicks, on the other hand, don't necessarily love to shoot at the rim. They don't have any preferred spots, in all honesty. Atlanta does cover that paint really well. So if they shut down the paint, it could help Atlanta out as well. But again, those things that I just mentioned they don't really trump my initial take on this game, that I think the Knicks match up really well in terms of, where they might want to be able to stop Atlanta and stuff in terms of them shooting in the paint. So yeah. I'm going to go Knicks minus the points. Total sitting at 237. If Atlanta wins this one, I think it's definitely an over, but I think the Knicks can slow this thing down. Under 237 is going to be my lean there. In terms of what I like from a player prop perspective, so Jalen Brunson over 2.5 3-pointers made. I consider, it'll jump into the outlier screen, link down below for outlier 7-day free trial. I thought about his points because Atlanta, doesn't really cover the perimeter all that well, but 26.5, he's only cashed it in 8 of 24 games this year. He didn't have it last time in November, but then I said, okay, well, we're focusing on the perimeter. Let's focus on the perimeter. 3-pointers made here. Over 2.5 threes made for Jalen Brunson. On the season, 14 of 24, 58% of games. At home this year, 64% of games. And against Atlanta, 4 in that last meeting, right? He shot the ball 11 times from deep, made 4. And I do think he's going to have somewhat of that volume, right? Like, look at what his volume's been lately. 6.2 attempts, 11, 9. Yes, gets a little dippy here. 6, 7. Yes, dips down there. 6, 7, 8. Like, if he shoots the ball 8+ times, which I'm hoping he does, look at what he's done against the Hawks in years past, 12, 10, and 11, or games past. If he shoots the ball with that much volume, I do like it. And you can see right here, Atlanta, 2 point guards allowing the second most threes on the season. Even in our dashboard, you can see here, Atlanta allowing the 6th most. This is over the last 7 games, so smaller sample size, but more recent. So yeah, I really don't mind Jalen Brunson over 2.5 3-pointers made overall in terms of a player prop here. But a player prop that I like even more, I don't have access to it because I'm not a new customer over on Underdog. But if you have not tried out Underdog, you can get this new customer free pick, Steph Curry, 0.5 points as they take on the Rockets. Is it the best matchup for Steph Curry? We'll talk about that in just a second, but it's 1 point for him, right? He can get fouled and make 1 of 2 foul shots. It's even rare for him to miss a foul shot. So go ahead and check out Underdog, guys. That link is going to be in the description as well as the pinned comment. You'll also get an amazing deposit bonus when signing up, and you get this free square for Steph Curry. If you don't know what this is, it's an app that you can use on your phone or on your desktop on your computer. All you do is pick higher or lower based on player set projections. If you think a player is going to do really well, you pick higher, like we would for Steph, 0.5 points, right? And you put these projections and whatnot into your entry. The more you win, the more you get paid out. You can win up to 1,000 extra money over on Underdog. It's really, really fun and really, really simple. That's the cool thing. So go ahead and check out Underdog, guys. That link will be down below. Go take advantage of this Steph Curry square and get that free cash with the deposit bonus. Moving on to the Rockets taking on the Warriors here. I think this is going to be a very good game. We have seen these two teams play already this season. Early November, it was an overtime game. Golden State wins 127 to 121. And then just about a week ago, we saw a 99 to 93 game. Now, a couple things to note specifically in that. So Steph Curry obviously has been beaten and bruised and banged up, and it just so happens that he didn't play in that first game nor the second game. So this is Steph Curry's first game against the Rockets, which should change things a little bit. And you just throw into the fact a little bit more salt in the wound that the Warriors are 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games against the Rockets and 10-0 straight up in their last 10. They've they've been kind of like a hit or miss on the road this year, but they've been in terms of winning and losing. But they've still had a decent clip, right? It's not as good as the Rockets at home in terms of Warriors being on the road compared to the Rockets at home. But you're giving me plus money behind the Warriors. I think that's the side I have to go to. The historical trend is there in terms of them dog walking this team. They're healthier now, right? Like the injury report still has some guys on it, but honestly, on the Golden State side of things, it's just Andrew Wiggins. On the other side of things, it's actually huge. You have Steven Adams and Alfred Sengun listed as game time decisions. Whitmore and Tate also as game time decisions there too. So even the Warriors are potentially winning the injury bug battle in this one, which has not been all that common for them this year. Yeah, it seems like it might be square. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be on the Warriors as a dog today. But to me, it just seems like the right spot. When you look at these two teams matching up, both are very, very good defensively. On the season, you have the number 2 defensive efficiency team in Houston going up against the number 5 defensive efficiency team in Golden State, the 18th ranked offense in terms of efficiency in Houston, going up against the 15th ranked offense of Golden State. But one thing that I will say is that this is, I would say, more of a dynamic team of Golden State in terms of offense. So that's kind of where I come out on this one thinking, okay, well, yeah, obviously you're looking at a Houston team that's very, very defensive, but we've seen some really, really bad offensive games from them this year. Whereas Golden State just, with Steph Curry on the floor, they do have obviously other guys around him like Buddy Hield, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond Green now getting the start. Like there is a little bit more of that offensive flow to it. So yeah, if you are on Houston, I should have said this at the beginning. This is one of those games I can see going both ways, right? So I will say that everything I'm saying sounds like I'm like Golden State, Golden State, Golden State. I am liking Golden State today, but I do see a path to the Rockets. Hopefully you kind of got that sentiment when I said these two teams are fairly similar. I just think Golden State has the better offense. So give me Golden State here plus the 2 points. I believe this is moving to 1.5, so it might be worth jumping on sooner rather than later if you do like Golden State, because I've seen 1.5s over out on, I think it's MGM, but 2.5s on DraftKings. Maybe it's going in that direction, so we have kind of, the books moving in opposite directions of one another, so we'll kind of see where that goes. In terms of that, though, I might even just look at Golden State sprinkling on the money line because I don't know if those points are necessarily going to matter. When it comes to a total in this one, it's at 223.5. We've seen two different versions, right? We've seen a 93 to 99 game and a 121 to 127 game. So obviously we can have a low scoring game. We can have a high scoring game. Again, Steph didn't play in those, so it's a little bit sort of, mind wrenching. I like an under here. What did I first jump to? Both these teams are similar. Both play very good defense. And the only reason this is probably above the 219 mark is because we have two top half of the league pace teams going right now. So yeah, I think that's probably the reason the number's here. But even if you look at the Golden State Warriors, let's go to their last, I guess we can just do their last 10 games now. Obviously, Steph's been out for some of those, but in terms of points for, 114, 90, 99, 115, 105, 101, 120, 94, 112, and then 120. So obviously they have a couple high ones in there, but a lot of games under 105. Points allowed, they have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games out of their last 10, they have under 108 allowed, so not 110 allowed to their opponent. And then Houston on the other side of things, they have plenty of games in which they've played some good defense. So yeah, I'm going to go off that recent trend of that low scoring game, 99-93. I like the under in this spot. In terms of a player prop, you guys are going to hate this one, but I'm looking at Steph Curry under 4.5 3-pointers made. This is the Rockets team allowing the third fewest threes to opposing players. Yes, a little bit worse to point guards than in the last, 7 games here, a little bit worse to point guards as well. So that's definitely something that could keep us off of it. But this is a high number, 4.5. Steph's only done it 5 times this season. Last year, obviously, he did it a lot more. He hit the under in 48%, but 72% of games so far this year. Head to head, he also, when he last played the Rockets, because he hasn't played in those previous 2, only had two threes made. Excuse me. So I think this could be a decent look, but is it worth fading Steph Curry? You know what I mean? Is that worth the spot? Probably not. If this was 3.5, you can even see it opened last night, it's moved up to 4.5. If this was 3.5, I wouldn't even consider it because he's going to land on 4 a bunch. Look at that. When we switch this to, over 3.5, he's hitting all of a sudden 12 of 18 games. So that fifth three is super, super crucial to me. I like the spot. I don't know how much I love it, but I do think it's really worth considering. The numbers are there. It just stinks that it's Steph Curry. You know what I mean? When you bet against the star guy, when we took Jokic's under 31.5 points and he dropped 48 on us, that's tough to swallow. So we shall see if we actually end up rolling with something like that. Keep an eye on the final plays. But yeah, I do think there are some room for unders. If we do add anything in this game over on the Guy Boston side, I'll give a little blurb as to why I like it because we didn't talk about it in the video. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Again, make sure to go ahead and check out Underdog if you have not yet. It's an amazing DFS app, and it's super, super easy and makes the games a lot more fun. So go ahead and check it out. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment 14. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. All of the support as of late. We do have a couple new videos over on the main Guy Boston Sports channel, so go ahead and check that out. We react to the Bill Belichick news. We react to the Jimmy Butler news. We also have our player prop strategy over there, so go check out that Guy Boston Sports main channel. Just search Guy Boston Sports. This one, we're still operating on the second channel for our picks. But that's all from me, guys. Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.